Hey, what's up? Welcome back. So this is Recap Monday. I know it's early, 12:06 a.m. But hey, why put off what you can do later that you can do today? So yeah, let me get my recap on the playoffs, and then at the end, I get into some other topics I want to talk about. I'm just put it all into one big thing. So first and foremost, playoff games. We're going to start with the games today. Um, We had Bengals and Bills, which was a lot more unexpected than I thought. I expected that to be a much more competitive game, um, but it just felt like the Bengals were a much better team. Um, so yeah, they pretty much did what they wanted to do at will in Buffalo. Buffalo never seemed on the same page throughout much of the game. Um, I got through. I think I got to after did I get to halftime? I can't remember. I think I got to like halftime or so, and I fell asleep. And the next thing I know, the game was over, and they had won. I think it was what 27. Let me see. What was it? 27-10. Yeah, 27-10. Um, apparently there was a pick six at the end or interception at the end, and there was a whole thing with with snow angels. I don't know. But anyway, we got the Cincinnati Bengals moving on. They'll be playing the Kansas City Chiefs. I'm very conflicted about this game because I love Pat Mahomes and I love Joe Burrow. Um, as you can see, if you look at my profile pic on my page, it's it's Joe Burrow. It's a Joe Burrow um, uh, picture. So yeah, and now I'm conflicted. I'm kind of glad. I'm glad this game is happening. Um, because I didn't want to have the because I didn't want to have the situation where they were going to play on a neutral field for the championship game. I understand why they set it up that way, but I don't know. I just think I don't think it's fair to the team. If you were the number one seed the whole season, you get that bye. You deserve to play at home for the championship game. If you get that far, I don't think it should have been. I don't think it should be a neutral site. But we don't have to worry about it. It didn't happen, and everything. I guess things worked out the way they were supposed to work out. Second game today or Sunday was Cowboys and 49ers, what you see on the screen. Um, it was a good game. I'm very, 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 very happy the Cowboys lost. The thing the Cowboys put together one good drive. They got they got that touchdown during the middle of the game. The 49ers were actually doing a lot. They did a lot of stuff. It's just um, other than that touchdown at the end, um, most of the game they really didn't capitalize too much on like turnovers and good field position. They got the field goals off those turnovers with interceptions, but um, yeah, they weren't as explosive as they were. But that's to be expected. It's a playoff game. It's a lot more defensive heavy when you get to the playoffs. So I wasn't surprised by anything. Um, Nothing really surprised me. Not Mahomes, Prescott. He does what he does. Those interceptions. Nothing new. Unfortunately for Pollard, he broke his leg. So when I saw that play, I had actually missed it. I saw the replay, and I was thinking, oh, he had the same thing Mahomes had when he got tackled and they fell on his leg. I was assuming that was what I was assuming that was going to be the same injury he got, but apparently he I think he fractured a bone somewhere in his leg, and that's why he didn't come back. And so the offense wasn't really much the same. I've been saying this for years. They need to they need to have Pollard be the main guy and have either Elliott come on situationally or for third down or get rid of him for something because Ezekiel Elliott had that like one or two good couple seasons when he first came in. I think because I think him and Prescott came out the same year. Um, but ever since then he's kind of been like he hasn't been he hasn't been what he was drafted to be. I think. I mean, I hope they keep him because that just means they'll still be, they won't be a better team. That'll be good for me. I don't care. They can be they can be as mediocre and as incompetent as they want to be. Hey, that makes it better for me to watch them every week. But yeah, now we don't even know because will he be ready for September? You know what I mean? I don't know how long these injuries usually take. We can go check out because this was the headline I saw right here. So he needs surgery. And it's right here. Yeah, they didn't really do much. Elliott averaged 4 yards a carry in the previous 5 games and a career low 3.8 yards per carry this season. That's ridiculous. Now it says right here he played with a good portion of the year with a knee brace. I didn't know that. The Davis kid, the rookie, had a good game, 161 yards, a touchdown. Oh, that's the regular season. I'm sorry. That's the regular season. Oh, okay. He didn't have a carry. Okay, I'm jumping. I'm giving him too much praise. So yeah, he had 1,000 yards, 12 touchdowns, and a Pro Bowl. Yeah. Oh, so they're not really going into it. I guess they'll give us more news today, later on today. But yeah, it was to be expected. I mean, I had no confidence they were going to win this game because I didn't want them to win, and two, they weren't going to win. Even with Brock Purdy, who Brock Purdy played a very good game. He had like 215 yards. He didn't throw a touchdown, but he was getting them into position. He played smart, played disciplined. He didn't get rattled. He didn't make stupid, silly mistakes like the other guy across from him made. It was just some weird. Now that second interception, no, actually no, that second interception was on him too. That was also a great defensive play. But yes, so the Cowboys go home once again. We don't have to hear about them again until I guess the draft probably. But we know we'll hear about them on a daily basis on with Undisputed. But anywho, so that was Sunday. Saturday, where I think the first game was what Chiefs and I'm looking right at it. Geez, Chiefs and Jaguars. That was a very good game. Kelsey once again was unstoppable. No answers for him. Mahomes, even with the sprain, uh, he still played very good. Even with that, he played, toughed it out, played gritted. He brought up a point at the end. His offensive line was a big credit to that because if he didn't have a good offensive line, it would have made it impossible to play on that ankle. But they kept him upright. They helped him. The running game helped. The short passing game helped. They made it very easy for him to go down the field and do what he had to do. Jacksonville, they're coming up. They're for real. They get another year under their belt. See what they can do with Coach Peterson. I think he'll get them right. They'll be favorites to win the AFC South because Texans and Colts, unless they do something drastic this offseason, they're still going to be in the bottom. Tennessee got question marks now. How much more can you lean on Derrick Henry And who do you have at quarterback? Are you going to keep Tannehill? I mean, Tannehill's not bad. Say what you will, Tannehill isn't bad, but he's on that level of like Cousins and Prescott and like who else? Like I guess even like a level Tua. I guess Tua and like I guess like a Daniel Jones. Like he's at that level where he needs a lot of stuff around him to succeed. And even then, his potential, his ceiling is already his ceiling. He's hit his ceiling a long time ago. So you know what you expect from Tannehill. Um, as long as he doesn't make mistakes and he throws to them big playmakers that he had, or that he had. I know a few were injured. It didn't help that he got hurt, and then it just kind of downgraded from there, down spiraled. They had at one point they were like what 6-2, 5-2, and they just kind of fell apart. And that was one of the reasons why Jacksonville was able to capitalize. They got better at the right time of the season. They hopped on and won the division. But yeah, they'll be a good team. They'll be great to watch for the from years to come. I think they'll get better. Um, I think they do need like another running back because I don't think ETN is the guy you want to lean on 3 downs. You know what I mean? I think you got to get him some help back there. You don't want to put all the load on him on the running game. To get that offensive line together and get him like a couple more receivers. They should be straight. Um, yeah, there'll be a problem in the AFC, especially with all them guys. Just the AFC when it comes to like quarterbacks is loaded. Even the team he beat in the first round, the Chargers, they got Justin Herbert. He's a big dude. He can play. I think with him, I think it may just be coaching because the guy can play. He can put up numbers and make plays when it has to be. I think the coach is holding him back. People were talking about firing him after that loss. Um, maybe I don't know how long has he been there. 1, 2. I think I, comebacks happen all the time. I don't think they have to overreact. I think you give this one more year. But if there's another game where this happens like this, then yeah, you might have to cut him loose because this comebacks happen all the time. Every team has had some weird bad letdown game at some point in their history. The Chiefs have had it. The Cowboys have it all the time. Philly, every team that's in the playoffs, not every team that's not in the playoffs, at some point in time in their history, regular season or playoff, they lost a game they should have won, even with big old leads. So it happens. I don't think it's you should overreact because they've made the playoffs 2 years in a row. Oh no, they no. Well, they were close to it the year before, um, and they made it this year. But I think for them, they're gonna have to find some way to win this division, and I don't think that's gonna happen as long as Mahomes is healthy and he's playing with a high level, and they keep making the moves they make with the personnel. I don't think they'll ever win that division as long as Mahomes is there. Um, and that division is only going to get better next year because, well, maybe I don't know what Broncos are going to do. I don't know what the the, what you call that team. I'll say, what do you call that team? The Las Vegas Raiders. Um, Derek Carr, he's gone. They got that receiver, but you got to have somebody throw to him. And I don't. Do you pick up someone in the offseason? Do you draft a kid? I mean, if you were going to draft a kid, you were better off keeping Carr. If that's the case, they got the backup guy who everyone likes, but everyone loves the backup because he's the backup. No one hates the backup until he becomes a starter, and then he starts losing a bunch of games, and then you'll be like, "Oh, you gotta get this guy out of here." So yeah, that's my. And then the final game, Philly and New York. That game was over in the first quarter, man. I had no doubt in my mind Philly was going to win that game. They it was incredible. Watching them run the football was was some special stuff, man. If you love football, and you didn't like what was going on, what Philly was doing offensively, you're not a football fan, man. Watching them run the football, they were getting 7, 8 yards a clip. They New York had no answers for it. It was unbelievable. Um, Hurts had a great game. He had two in the air, one on the ground. That small kid with a Gainwell, that guy's a player. I like him. I like him. I think he gonna be a problem for San Francisco. Them two guys. Honestly, I don't see San Francisco because the problem is San Francisco. As much as Purdy has been good, Purdy's been excellent for what he's been able for what he's done so far. He's kept him afloat, got him into the playoffs, got him a game away from the Super Bowl. But he's going to have to. Shanahan's going to have to unleash the reins on him. You gotta let that guy go out there and play because you can't hold back now. This you don't get no extra. You don't. This ain't it ain't like it ain't like yesterday where you got the Cowboys. Oh, as long as we get past the Cowboys, that gives us an extra week to see what we can do against Philly. Nah, man. If they go down early like Philly did against New York and put up, not even 21, but they go up big, like say 14-0 in that first quarter. Are you really gonna put Purdy back there to just drop back the rest of the game? I don't think he trusts him that much. That much right now. Maybe in a few years, if they but that's a whole nother issue with that quarterback room they got over in San Francisco. There's a lot of stuff going into the offseason. Even if they win the game next week, hell, even if they win the Super Bowl, they're still gonna have an issue at quarterback because what you do with Jimmy G and that guy they drafted a few years ago who has not played. I don't know what they're gonna do with him. You took him in the first round. I think they took him 3 overall in that draft. They took him. So either you gonna have to play this man, or you gonna have to let him go. Especially if Purdy continues, and if Purdy wins the Super Bowl, you're not getting rid of Brock Purdy. That's stupid. I think you would, but then do you make Garoppolo the backup? I don't think you can have Purdy out there have all this success, all this momentum, win the Super Bowl, and then put Purdy back on the bench. I don't think that would work for his psyche, especially as a rookie. I think that wouldn't be fair to him. You ride that out as long as you can. That's it. But we going three. We looking at 3 weeks ahead today. You can't look that far ahead. But yeah, I guess I'll make some early predictions. Kansas City, Kansas City, Cincinnati. I believe Kansas City will win close. It'll come down to the fourth quarter, late in the fourth quarter, but I think Kansas City I think Kansas City gets through that Burrow hurdle. I believe Kansas City's lost the last 3 times they played against Cincinnati. They lost early this year. They lost the AFC Championship last year, and then they lost the game against them last year. So they haven't beat them. We're going back 2 calendar years now, almost give or take, like a year and a half. They haven't beat them, so I think they'll get over the hump. I think they'll execute. I'm slightly concerned about the ankle sprain. It's a high ankle sprain. I think with a week of rest and get him on what he needs to get the ice and the heat and the rest. Because I think whatever they did at halftime, he was all right. I mean, he still couldn't. It was weird. You could see when he was doing the handoffs, he really couldn't. you can tell it was bothering him. I mean, he was able to make throws at least. I mean, that's the beautiful thing about Mahomes. He can throw the ball any old type of way and still make the throw. He still got weapons out there. He can rely on the running game, short passing game if he have to. That the offensive line, all the offensive line holds for him and keeps them safe as safe as possible. I think they'll be fine. They'll be able to squeak it out. Um, I don't think it'll be a high scoring game just because, like I said, with the ankle, the ankle is going to excuse me. The ankle, I think, is going to hinder him because otherwise I'd have been like, this is going to be a nice high scoring game. But I think the ankle, they're going to try to avoid getting into a shootout with these guys because they don't want to put Mahomes having to sit back there and throw 40, 50 times on that ankle. I think if they can keep it to a reasonable amount of passes for him and keep it balanced and play some good defense, get some turnovers. I think they can pull it out. So it'll be a close one. Kansas City over Cincinnati, and Philly over San Francisco. The X factor in that game is Brock Purdy. Brock Purdy, he has to play like he did the first few games when he took over. He's gonna have to get the ball in the end zone on the any way possible through the air on the ground. He's gonna have to score some touchdowns. He had 215 yards, I think, something like that. But he didn't have any touchdowns. That's because they were settling for. If they settle for field goals against Philly, Philly's gonna blow them out. You have to do something offensively. That was the biggest issue with New York Saturday. They didn't stop the run at all, and the offense was inept. They got that one touchdown in the third quarter, but by the time they got the touchdown, there was like 5-6 minutes left in the third quarter, and you didn't think they were going to get 21 more points in that time frame because they hadn't proved anything. They got the touchdown because Philly kind of took their foot off the gas, but even then they still got 10 more points. They still scored 10 more points, and they were still playing good defense, and they were still running their offense, and they were still gashing them. They could run anything with little resistance. And if San Francisco don't get that right offensively, at least, then yeah, it's gonna be a long day, and Philly's gonna win big. So I got Philly winning over San Francisco big because like I said, I don't really trust Purdy. Purdy's got to have a bad game at some point. It's just I don't think it's realistic to think he's going to go all the way. And no matter who he would face, even if he won this game, no matter who he faced in the Super Bowl, I don't think he'd have a clean game in the Super Bowl. Not with 2 weeks to prepare. You know what I mean? So yeah, those are my picks. That's just my recaps and picks for next week. I know they're really early. I'll probably make another video like Friday once we get more news about like the injury stuff and any kind of other major news that's going to affect the championship games. Real quick, there's one other thing I want to talk about. So I got the notification Saturday, and I was planning to make a video like right when I got the notification. I was going to make like initial thoughts. It didn't happen because I was doing some stuff. I was hanging with my dad for most of the day, so I never got around to it. I was going to make it early today, but when I went out, did some stuff, came back, watched the games, and I didn't feel like making any videos during the games. I didn't want to really miss anything. I said I really didn't want to miss anything. I ended up falling asleep in the first game. But anyway, real quick, I just want to get into the Ed Reed situation. So Ed Reed, so he didn't take the job. Well, they broke their agreement to hire him as the next coach of Bethune Cookman. And there's been a lot of people on both sides of the aisle since the news dropped. Some people say they should have signed him anyway. Some people said they did the right thing by breaking off the deal. I think they did the right thing. Um, Look, man, no one is. There's no guarantee until you sign until you sign the dotted line. He didn't sign the papers. Technically, they don't have. There's no obligation to do anything. He was talking about he had been there for weeks, a week and a half, for free. He was working on his own time. So essentially, he was a volunteer, and there's no rules or laws for volunteers. If we don't want you to work, if we don't want you to work there, and you're doing it for free, they don't have to agree to anything. And they had to. I think they had to break it off because I understand where I get what some people are saying. Uh, I can't really say if what he's saying is 100% true. I don't know much about the school. I know, I mean, I know of the school, but I don't understand. I don't know what's going on in the ins and outs of that school. So what he's saying could be completely wrong. It could be completely right. It could be, some like half truths, I guess, or the whole thing is not being told, or he's not completely informed. But you can't go on a tirade and expect to still get hired. That doesn't work. And no job in the world can you badmouth your employer before you get the job. You hadn't signed anything yet, so you're not technically you're not the coach. You're not anything. You're just a volunteer. Until you sign that paper, you are not an employee. So to think he can do all that, and even if he's completely right, look, the school doesn't have to there's no contract signed, so they don't have to do business with him. That's just the realest thing. You're not gonna get away with that. Now, maybe there is some bad stuff going on, some shady stuff going on behind the scenes. That may be true, but they have the right as the employer to pick and choose who they want to employ. And him going off on a tirade didn't help. Um, I'll give them credit. They didn't bend the knee. They could have hired him, and then I guess it wouldn't. You would still have people being like, "Oh, well, they hired him." They'd be like, "Oh, they hired him, so they must be, in the wrong." Or, "Oh, they hired him." Um, just so he doesn't keep, I guess, mouthing off. I guess, which isn't the right thing to say. I guess he didn't. I guess mouthing off is like, I guess. Well, he went on the tirade. I don't think. I guess I don't know. It's just a mess. The way it ended. I've seen the video. It's like 15 minutes long, where he's addressing the team and the kids and the parents. And part of me, part of me thinks it's for show, and then part of it, I think he was being sincere. I think he really did want to do it, but I think he just went around about it the wrong way when it came to addressing his grievances with the university. Um, so I mean, hey, what could have been, right? Plus the school has to set an example because if they, like I said, if they had hired him, this would also put the precedent out there that you can say whatever you want before you get hired, and you'll still get the job. And that's not real life, man. Unfortunately, he has to be the example for everyone else. Some people out there, well, hey, I'm in talks. You're not guaranteed anything. Like I said, till you sign them contracts and get them lawyers involved. And then I guess then he could have said something because then you would have more leverage. They wouldn't break the contract in 2 weeks. You know what I mean? Um, yeah, that's all I wanted to say about that. Nothing crazy. But yeah, thank you for watching. I hope you enjoyed divisional playoff weekend, and see you later. Bye.